All right, so today I've got something a little different for us. I've kind of had a thought spinning in my head since I found a post at this point, almost over 2 weeks ago, about lying. So this is what the original poster, Rhetoric Writes, put in their post. Seriously though, I missed the boat on this whole radical honesty thing. I guess everyone wants to be true to themselves now. That's great. But you're really only ever going to meet a select few you can be totally honest with about everything. Lie to strangers, lie to authorities. Damn, didn't you have parents that told you never to tell people on the phone that you were home alone? When the interviewer asks if you ever experimented with drugs, you say no. This is not a therapy session. He got no business asking you that anyway. Lots and lots of people are not entitled to your vulnerability. So while I agree with the general sentiment of this statement, there are some clarifications I feel are important. The first commenter, which will also be in the image over there, says this. Dragonflies and Katydids says this. I follow my grandmother's rule. It's only a lie if they have a right to know. So these two things in conjunction sent me on a deep dive into how has the word lie changed over the last several hundred years. I could only really find solid sources for about the last 100 or so that's what I'm going to focus on. And for this first part of this series of videos, I am exclusively talking about the dictionary definitions because this spiraled into a much larger concept than I had originally planned. So I'm going to talk about how these definitions first have changed, and then a few thoughts about how it applies to folk healing. In later episodes, I will also get into the morality concept of lying, and how different cultures apply lying, and how the use of the term lie has been used in politics, not taking any side, just pointing out that the word lie has started to be used for any time I disagree with you. So that's the plan going forward. So today we're going to focus on dictionary definitions. After reading these comments, I then got stuck on the train of thought, and I did about 6 hours of research on my own before asking my aunt her opinion. Because I realized there was a generational gap in knowledge. Because my definitions, I was born in the 90s, so I have one set of definitions that I grew up with, and as I was researching, I found out my definition that I grew up using is not the same as my parents' generation, as my grandparents' generation. So this was her thought on it. The definition of a lie has changed more often since 2019 than the previous 40 years of my life. To have the meaning of a lie change based on the house, state, or country you live in, or the people you are talking to, is disturbing. You almost have to ask how they define a lie to comprehend what they are saying. So after that, I went, I ran through my house grabbing all of the dictionaries I could find, and I also compared it to some modern online dictionaries. So the first dictionary, or the oldest dictionary, I could find is the Webster's New 20th Century Dictionary. It was published in 1949. It defines lie when in its noun form as a falsehood uttered in speech or in act for the purpose of deception, an intentional violation of truth. Fiction, or a false statement or misrepresentation, not intended to deceive, mislead, or injure, as in fables, parables, and the like, is not a lie. If we look at the definition of lie as a verb from the same source, it reads, to utter falsehood with an intention to deceive, or with immoral design, to say or do that which is designed to deceive another when he has a right to know the truth, or when morality requires a just representation. From these definitions, we see that poster Dragonflies and Katydid's grandmother was spot on in her definition. It's only a lie if they have the right to know. Which makes sense to me. I inherited this dictionary from my grandparents. So the fact that the same generation is operating under the same concept of what constitutes a lie makes sense to me. It reminds me actually of a quote from Brandon Sanderson's Secret Projects. Inside each of the shipping boxes, there's a quote. And I forget which one this was from because I just took pictures and saved it in my phone. But it's from a character named Wit. You may call this a silly story. It is. That does not depreciate its truthfulness. After all, I am frequently quite silly, but I am almost always truthful. He tells tall tales. He tells fanciful stories. But it's not lying because everyone comprehends it's for entertainment. He's an entertainer, not a liar, not a deceiver. So, as a quick aside, if you are enjoying this more quote-heavy video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to hang around, and thank you in advance if you do. Moving forward, the next dictionary I have is from 1967. It is the Webster's 7th New Collegiate Dictionary. This one I borrowed from my father. It is the dictionary he used in college. And if we look at the definition as a noun of the word lie, it's changed somewhat. In assertion of something known or believed by the speaker to be untrue with intent to deceive. So the definition is still recognizable, but it has shortened considerably. If we look at the verb, we find something similar. To make an untrue statement with intent to deceive. Again, it is considerably shorter, but it still has basically the same meaning as 18 years previous. If we move to the third dictionary I got my hands on, it's a larger jump in the timeline. This one is the New Webster's Dictionary and Thesaurus from 1995. There is a note on the copyright page that says the main body of the text is from 1972 with updates in 1994. With this book, we are now inside of my lifetime. I was only 4 years old, but still, we're within my lifetime. It defines the noun lie as an intentionally false statement or impression. Again, definition has shrunk, and if we look at it as a verb, to deceive by making a false impression. So, at this point I think we need to take a step back and look at a piece of information about this. Let's just count the words in each definition. In 1949, the noun had 43 words in its definition, and the verb had 39 words in its definition. In 1967, the noun got 17 and the verb 9. In 1995, they were reduced down to 6 and 7 words, respectively. That is a significant reduction in context. Now, if we look at today, I accessed dictionary.com on the 6th of August, 2023, and it gives us the following definition for the noun. A false statement made with deliberate intent to deceive, an intentional untruth. And the verb says, to speak falsely or utter untruth knowingly, as with intent to deceive. Here we have 12 and 12 respectively. Something weird happens, though, when you just ask Google for the definition. So when we ask Google for the definition, a lie as a noun is an intentionally false statement, and a verb is to tell a lie or lies. Now we're down just to 4 and 5 words. And there's something else. If you just ask Google, it has removed the moral component of lying. It's just gone. And as a verb, it's using itself to define itself. Do we see a problem here? Because I do. So as demonstrated by the definition provided by Google, we now no longer have a distinction between what is intended to entertain and what is malicious. Just saying something that is intentionally false is not necessarily a lie, because it has removed the moral component of the definition. So how does this definition change affect full healing? So when people come to receive help from a folk healer, there are three primary reasons that they come. One, they have experienced what is described as an ajuste, a shock, a surprise. That is, something happened that put a shock into their spiritual system, and they need help returning to balance. Number two, they were attacked in some way. This is usually someone trying to curse them receiving usually a series of crossings that inhibit their ability to heal themselves, or some other intentional attack. The third most common reason that I see people come to me for help is to realign their actions and their beliefs. When our actions and our beliefs are out of alignment, meaning we are behaving in a way that is inconsistent with what we believe, or that we believe something or we say we believe something that we no longer actually believe, it causes internal stress. It causes disharmony within our spirit, within our mind, within our body. So, I am using the word lie as an example of how this can happen. If you are using the most simple modern definition of an intentional falsehood, and you believe that that is lying and that is against your moral compass, that can cause you a lot of internal stress. That can cause a lot of internal agony, because you are failing at being a good person. But with the additional nuance from 1949, as the dictionary states, if it was a lie to protect yourself, if it was a lie to entertain, as in a tall tale, that's not a moral failing. If that's the definition you hold in your mind, if that's the belief you hold in your mind. All right, to sum up, next time you are accused of lying, or you choose to deliberately tell an untruth, consider the intention behind your words. If you were seeking to harm someone, either in their reputation, their finances, or if you're having a discussion with someone and you use an ad hominem attack, that's probably a lie, because it's got malicious intent. If the intention instead is to tell a fun story, smooth out a social encounter by just not volunteering information that is unnecessary to share, or you are lying to protect yourself or someone else, you're living in the spirit of truth. It is not a lie to defend yourself by withholding information. Next time, as I said before, I will get into the specifics of the morality of lying in regards to what is a white lie, what is a black lie, what is not even a lie at all, and I have a large gamut of quotes to get into in regards to that. So until next time, walk in the light, my friends.